Well, it's a good morning to everybody out there. A holiday Monday, a brand new week is before us. And of course, you are welcome to the greatest show on Nigerian television. Good morning once again. This is your #1 breakfast show, and we are happy that you guys are here, even during the holidays, to make sure that you're starting this week with us. Well, the weather's kind of nice, and the holidays are still ongoing, so if you're at home, it's with family, and we appreciate that all of you have gathered here today. Yes, indeed, we hope that the holidays were, well, spent real nicely with you, with family, and that you got to meet everybody and also share some family time together. Well, welcome to our Easter Monday edition here. And as everybody around Nigeria celebrates, well, hey, we are going to be giving you quite the show to go with it. Welcome, and don't you worry, there's a whole lot well prepared for all of you, and of course all the other hosts that will be joining me here on the show today. And we've got a very, very interesting one for you. I want to remind you guys that if you're watching, of course you're watching on GOTV channel 27 and UHF 49, that's where to see the show. If you want to see it on the go, you might as well download the app on your phones. You can do that if you have the iOS or Google Play Store. It's all for free. And please, 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 make sure that you're following us on social media at TVC Connect and send in those comments using the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. But of course, you know my name already. My name is Mazino Appeal. Let's let you guys know what's coming up for today's show. We are going to begin with some Monday motivation. We have Dr. Ambassador Dr. Charles Otudor. He'll be joining us to discuss brand positivism, the part 2. Of course, we started last week with this one. Dr. Charles Otudor is Africa's premier brand strategist and engagement consultant. So, hey, can't wait. For a musical performance, we have Afro Orijo, singer and also songwriter Adedayo Adegbite, professionally known as Donish Brata. He calls this one Grace, and he'll be seizing the spotlight later on in the show. For SME, we have Oluwabumi Olunyo, the creative designer and managing partner of Olumi's Place Limited, a company focused on garments, fashion accessories, and souvenirs. Welcome, it's a Monday edition, and not just a Monday edition, a holiday edition. How's your holiday been going so far?
Well,
Easter Monday, yeah.
it's been good. Worked on Saturday and Sunday as always. So,
You don't get time off, do you?
Max FM. Oh, I do get time off. So it was a busy weekend. Really interesting one, as a matter of fact. Something notable happened yesterday.
Oh?
Yeah. I'll tell you about that.
Okay, she'll tell us later. It's okay. Mike,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
restful.
it's been a good holiday.
After working on Saturday, so Sunday, I wanted, the plan was to go see family, but I didn't make the arrangements well. So it was basically restful. Saturday was work, but yeah, basically restful. Easter Sunday, yeah. And
I think one of the biggest gifts for Sunday was Adesanya's win, wasn't it?
oh yes, early Sunday morning.
Early Sunday
it was,
morning,
It
yeah.
was big. It was very big. I guess I will have to talk about that because so he has lost to this guy thrice now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Twice
exactly.
as a kickboxer, and then once as a mixed martial
boxer.
arts.
Oh,
so
sorry,
I mean,
yeah.
3 times. So imagine the mindset there. You already know that you're up against it. Went on. So Adesanya is someone who people say at times can be very cautious. He does like a Mayweather. He wants to be, take you all the way. But this time he knocked the guy out cold. What I mean,
Yeah.
cold.
Second round.
Cold.
And
Second
somebody
round.
made good money from
Cool.
it, Drake.
Yes,
He
Drake
actually
made
bet
2 billion naira.
$400,000.
I like Naira. 2 billion.
See your mouth, 2 billion.
All right, let's get into concept. Those dollars that they are calling is a bit too, you don't get the full impact of it. You get 2 billion naira, just like that.
So and one big thing was when he pointed to Pereira's son and said, "Hey," and then fell on the ground. This was what the guy did. The kid, when he lost to the Popsy,
Yeah.
came up in the ring
And did that.
and then just fell on the ground.
How old
And
is
so
the kid now, though?
I'm not very sure.
He's
But
still
man,
a kid, isn't he?
it was a brutal 1-2, knocked him out
Yeah.
cold. Baba went out on it. And so he pointed to the kid.
I thought he bullied the kid a bit.
No, for what?
He's
The
still
kid
a
needs to
kid.
learn. What do you
He
mean?
needs to learn though, but
What do you mean? He came out in front.
he started
He
it.
saw it.
Okay, cool.
Came out in front.
Lesson for the kid, but I wouldn't.
Oh,
do that. I
no,
wouldn't do that to a kid, though.
I will show. I'll look for the image and show people where.
Oh, by the way, there was also yesterday, I forgot to mention, Liverpool versus Arsenal match. I'm sure you talk about that during
yeah,
sports, yeah?
definitely. Games, yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one because, my goodness, I felt kind of robbed.
In any case, these and more coming your way inside of Wake Up Nigeria. Do stay tuned.
Good morning. It's the news on Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Mike Messikeno. We kick off with news about the Easter Sunday celebrations as the Cathedral Church of Christ, Marina, Lagos, had their members attend the Easter Sunday choral service. Now, taking his teaching from 1 Corinthians chapter 15, the preacher, the very Reverend Adibola Ojofetimi, said, if Christians knew and embraced the power of resurrection, they will see the impact it will have in their lives. According to him, since Hebrew chapter 4 states that death could not hold Christ captive, it then means that Christians have an inheritance of that same power.
1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 55. Where, O death, is your victory? Where, O death, is your sting? Where, O death, we can live. We can live because of Christ's victory over death. The grave is not final for us. Walk in the victory of his rising from the dead.
I want to encourage every one of us to imbibe that spirit of oneness, love one another, and make Nigeria great again.
Life, assurance that in all things, Christ is going to be, he's the risen King, it's my Lord, my God. That is what the essence of the resurrection of Christ means to me.
Hope of resurrection, hope of new life, all issues that are dead. God.
The Nasarawa State Police Command says it has arrested one of the inmates who escaped during last year's attack on the Kuje Correctional Center in the Federal Capital Territory. That was contained in a statement signed by the State Public Relations Officer for Police, DSP Rahman. He identified the escapee inmate as Salisu Buhari, a 24-year-old man who is an indigene of Nasarawa State. The command spokesperson further narrated that its operatives also arrested one Zubairu Ali, who partnered with Mr. Buhari to steal motorcycles from residents of the Nasarawa local government area of the state. And then to foreign stories, the Israeli military says it has launched artillery attacks on Syria after rockets were fired from Syrian territory towards northern Israel, none of which caused damage or casualties. The cross-border exchanges early on Sunday came as Israel escalates violence on multiple fronts, including in Gaza, Lebanon, occupied East Jerusalem, and the occupied West Bank. There was no immediate comment from the Syrian government. The Israeli military said it had launched artillery attacks and a drone against the rocket launchers in Syria. There were 2 rounds of rocket launches from Syrian territory in the early hours of Sunday, it said. The first involved 3 rockets, one of which landed in a field in the Israeli-annexed Golan Heights. The second launch also, which involved 3 rockets, set off sirens in northern Israel. There were no reports of casualties. Jordan's army said debris from a rocket fell into its territory but caused no casualties or damage. So we'll take a time out now. We'll return with the headlines in the dailies.
Time for the newspaper headlines on Wake Up Nigeria. This morning we begin with the Vanguard newspaper, and it has this on its headline: supplementary polls, opposition parties rally to seize control of National Assembly. Here we also have I2 Gilba, 5 senatorial, 31 reps, and 57 state assembly seats. Opposition lawmakers-elect speak. Up here we have ex-AGF Bola Ajibola dies at 89 as Buhari, Tinubu, Abiodun, others mourn. Down here we see Nigeria's oil production drops 2% to 1.517 million barrels per day. Here we also see photo stories of the Easter service in Rome as well as in Lagos, showing the Pope and the Archbishop as well. And here as well, JAM to commence 2023 UTME on April 25. The big one, Adesanya beats Pereira with stunning knockouts, reclaims middleweight title. All of these stories and more you can catch in the Vanguard newspaper today. Now from the Vanguard newspaper, we head straight to the Guardian newspaper. And the Guardian has this as its major headline: UK revises foreign health workers recruitment, returns Nigeria to red list countries. Now, we have writers saying outrage over bill mandating 5-year pre-licensing practice for Nigeria-trained doctors. Bill poorly researched. reels out inaccurate figures. Federal government's brain drain committee report not implemented. Group inactive for months. If bill becomes law, government officials should also stop medical tourism. And that's coming from Tomori. Down here, we see how Agbiru, multiple dues, spike transportation costs by 25% in Lagos. We also have Kuka asks Nigerians next government, tasks rather, Nigerians next government on nation building. And finally, Ajibola, a jurist for the ages. All of these stories and more you can catch in the Guardian newspaper this morning. Now, from the Guardian newspaper, we head straight to the Nation newspaper. And the Nation newspaper has this as its major headline. Governors under pressure over security vote spending. Federal agencies, NFIU, EFCC, seek movement of accounts to CBN for proper monitoring. Up here, we see Oshibajo, Obasanjo, others pay last respects at Ajibola's burial. Buhari, Tinubu governors, Ishola, mourn ex-JCJ judge. Here we also have ABC asks tribunal to dismiss AA, APP, APM petitions. Attacked or Catholic Church reopens months after. Down here, we see banks, oil firms, others flout stock exchange governance rules. All of these stories and more you can read in the Nation newspaper this morning.
And you're welcome. It's time for What's Up and About. So mostly we always get our topics from inside of social media. And over the weekend, there was a post that I was alerted to, and I had to see it only for research purpose, because on a normal day, I would not bring myself that low to actually see it. Skit makers in Nigeria are labored with the work of designing content that people can see and also make it trend. However, it would seem that skit making is taking another toll where people are disregarding morals, disregarding what is right, wrong, what is absolutely abhorrent, and just going all out and doing absolute rubbish. There was this skit that was trending, not for the good reasons, but it was two comedians who had a baby with them, and the premise of the story was, at the end of the day, I'm going to say this is going to hurt you, but the baby got raped. First off, you involve a baby in this kind of a thing, and there was no direction to it. There was it wasn't calling to anything social or raising awareness for something that's vile. It was supposed to be plain comedy. At the end of the day, it was the most disgusting thing I have ever seen on Nigerian Instagram, and it's still out there. I'm wondering why it hasn't been taken down. If you haven't seen it, I would say there's no need.
Yes, yeah, I just saw a screenshot of the beginning of the skit, and when I saw the complaints, I didn't watch it. Mm-hmm. I have not watched it. I probably would not watch it, and all of that. But I am I thought they were objectifying the kid, but now you say the kid was raped.
At the end of the skit,
at the end, as supposedly,
yes,
as per the act in it.
Yes. That's inside of the skit.
So this is the only place where I would defer to what we've been talking about for a very long time about regulation of social media from, as per when it comes to local, right here. There has to be punitive measures, very strong ones, very, very strong one, very strong one.
My concerns are for the child and whose mother, I mean, would let their kid.
Did the mother know?
Mas, I watched that skit.
Who's the mother?
And I'm furious. In fact, being furious is an understatement. I watched that skit and I could not believe what I was seeing. So it started from the child being objectified. You know, the landlord doing all these pedophilic expressions, and I was like, okay, maybe at the end of the day, something was done to curb it, or he was punished. And then when I got to the end of it, I was waiting for what will happen. And I realized that it was a case of, oh, landlord got the child.
What he wanted at the end of the day.
And I'm like, are you for real? Have we sung this low? I know I may be called out for it, but those guys need to be arrested.
They do.
Because obviously, for you to think of such a thing, it means that even you have pedophilia tendencies. Because how you would think it normal or cool or interesting? Because that's child pornography.
Or funny.
Did you even listen to the sounds coming from the room?
Yeah, exactly.
Almost
and that
as
was
if
the most
child was supposed to be...
That was the most unsettling
It
part.
was disgusting.
It was the most unsettling part of the entire skit. And even thinking about it, I shudder.
There's which country is it that said that for influencers, if they use filters to promote anything,
France?
yeah, if they use filters to promote anything, they should mention it, they should state it out, that if they don't, clearly put it out, and then they mislead the public.
Yeah, and they stand, there's jail time for it.
There is jail time for it. So in a particular scenario, but this might conflict with a number of things. And I know you understand what I'm trying to say. It's not a general thing. Not everybody abhors this the way we do. Not everybody thinks that that might be a crime. And not all of them, and some of them are quite influential.
Yeah.
Because of the kind of society we live in. So that is also a problem.
Even if that baby was an adult, the ending made no sense. What are you trying to prove? That it is normal, it is okay for the landlord to have his way? What exactly were you trying to prove? I think those skit makers need to be asked, what was the purpose of that skit?
I think they need to be banned from social media, like the French instance.
Yeah, like camera and
if you use a filter without telling in France, you will be banned permanently from social media. And I think we need that kind of regulation in Nigeria.
It's gotten to that point. We've been talking about social media regulation for too long, and people have been making valid cases, but things like this make you like, okay, so, come on.
Yeah. The train of thought just went out.
You were saying concepts, I'm sorry.
But you see, yeah, furious. I can understand. Everybody needs to be furious. I don't know what happened. I hope something happens as a deterrent to people who would want to think of something like that. And then I believe in second chances, yeah? But in some cases, some kind of scenarios, you've blown it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Even with that one, you've blown it, and what comes at you should be a very heavy sledgehammer.
Yeah. We don't advise that you see it, but if there's a way, anybody who's seen it, please do make sure that you report this on Instagram so it gets taken down, because as of this morning, it's actually still up on Instagram. So if it's a class action, please let's already do that. It's really absolutely disgusting and not to be propagated in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely disgusting.
I only saw it because we needed to talk about it. Now that I've seen it, I can express and say it was terrible. Stay tuned, we've got plenty more coming your way. It's Wake Up Nigeria. Use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC if you want to tell us something. We'll be listening.
Time for some Monday motivation, and today we have Dr. Charles Otudo joining us to discuss brand positivism part 2. You remember we began this last week. Dr. Charles Otudo is Africa's premier brand strategist, and today talking about brand positivism, it's so good to have you in the studio with us.
Pleasure's mine. Mine.
Okay, so when we talk about brand positivism, I know quite well that you began the groundwork last week.
Yeah.
Now, continuing this week, where are we taking it to?
To a more practical aspect. To stay positive, you need to have certain elements, and it's all about problem solving. So, like I said last week, we all go through negatives. True. It's how we define those issues. In fact, out of negatives, you get the positives. Yeah. A lot of people create wealth from issues. True. You can even create wealth from condemned materials now. It's how you convert the situation. So today I want to mention just 5 steps, which will close up the part 2. Okay. The first one is defining. You have to define. Okay, so there's an issue that has occurred. Do you define it? We must learn to define those issues based on why did they happen and what is the contextual, the relationship between that issue and at the endpoint. Okay. So, 1, define. Secondly, we need to measure. When you define, measure what really happened.
So you define
and then you measure. Now, this
not all gravity.
You measure. If you don't measure, how can you create the answers to ensure it doesn't happen again? So most of the time, people stay negative because they did not measure. They just assume somebody do me.
Village people.
I mean, nobody's doing anybody. Your attitude determines the outcome of the processes. Absolutely. So let's define, then we measure. After we measure, we need to now analyze. When you analyze, you are going through all the details. What went wrong? Okay, How did I react? Okay, based on my reaction to this situation, what was the other third-party reaction? Negatives don't just occur on their own. It involves two parties. Something happens, and then we react.
Yeah.
So the fourth point is when you analyze, you now improve. After you define, you measure, you analyze.
You analyze, then you improve.
Or else you can't improve. How can you improve on a situation you don't understand?
Yeah, that's the analytic angle of it.
So you analyze it. Okay, this went wrong, this went wrong, this went, but this could have gone right if I had done this. And then finally,
so there you take the lessons.
You now take the lessons and now go to control. At the point of control is where you go back all the way to the beginning, where you defined. You can't control what you've not defined. You can only control what you have defined. So, based on these principles, you can now create a new curve that gives you a different perspective, and you create what I call the brand positivism. And that's the end point where you now realize, okay, I did this wrong, I did it right, okay, I've analyzed it, now I want to control the outcome next time so that it doesn't occur again, or else the same problems you encounter will keep on occurring because you're still using the same strategy.
And this is a proven, test-trusted strategy to ensure that at least you put out brand positivism. But in some cases, people skip steps. Some people will start with the definition.
Okay.
And from there, without much ado, they head straight to
solving.
That's the improvement.
Now, let me ask you a question. How can a failed strategy solve a problem that exists?
How can a failed strategy solve a problem that exists?
Okay, let me ask you in a different format.
Okay.
When clients come to us, we put in place what we call the brand health check.
Okay.
Now, the brand health check helps us to ascertain the health state of that client.
Okay.
Now,
when you say health state, mental health?
No, brand health check.
Brand health, okay.
So it's a questionnaire that helps us to analyze the state of a client's brand.
Okay.
Simple questions. We don't prefer solutions before we understand who you are and what you really need to put in place. For some people, they go straight to the problem solving without analyzing the problem. Why would a client come to me? The client needs help. Now, if I don't put in place tests, how can I be able to put in place strategies? It's like going to a hospital and the doctor looks at you and tells you you have fever.
Yeah, without
you have malaria. That is a quack. So in analyzing, you analyze the situation, you go through the processes, and then before you now prefer solutions.
So to answer your question,
yes,
a failed strategy can be used to get a better one simply by getting the lessons from the failed one to ensure that
you've nailed it on the head. A very good student. Awesome, you got it right.
All right. So in a situation where the strategy is working well, we know that sometimes things could go awry.
Yes.
Now, in such situations, what are the possible things that could go awry?
Now, let me take it from the personal brand, first of all. You can't control outcomes, but you can control your reaction. So what could go wrong? Weather, climate, government policies.
Sure.
The economic terrain can change.
Yeah.
But what can we do? We restructure our thinking by understanding the situation so that we can now readjust our strategy to suit the realities. Now, strategies are not long-term. They must be short, mid, and long-term. That way, you pause and you analyze at every
point. How far you've gone.
After you've phase one, look back and review, where have I gone right? And what is the reaction to my last actions? Because you see, when you put in place actions, there's always a second reaction from a third party. So you pause and you review. Oh, this has gone right. Based on what has occurred from the third party, you can proceed with phase two. It's the same thing with the mindset. If you have a mindset of pause, play, rewind, fast forward, and stop or eject.
Yeah, so that way, even when there are errors made and all, it's easy to put them in check.
Into context.
Yes, before things get really out of hand. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Charles.
Thank you. Pleasure's mine.
At this point, as we feed our mind, it's time to feed our body as well. And Mazino is in the kitchen with the chef. Yeah. Maz, you don't want to know what you're making for breakfast.
I'm so sorry. I was so engrossed in conversation with Anne here. We're talking about life in Festac. You see, us Festac people, we kind of like get along and everything. Well, welcome. What are we having for breakfast this morning? I'm going to let Chef Anne here from Mayans restaurant. Mayans what?
Mayans.
Just Mayans. All right. She's going to tell us what we're having, but I can tell you already. There's periwinkle here, so I know it's going to be from that part of Nigeria. So, Chef Anne, what are we having today?
We're having ekpankoko.
Ooh, already. I mean, let me set this down. Already, you know it's going to be a fantastic one. Ekpankoko.
Yes, ekpankoko.
What are the ingredients that we're going to be looking at? We're going to be using today.
Okay, we're using the main ingredients as cocoyam, water yam, periwinkle, crayfish, stockfish, dry fish, assorted meat, whatever you want to use.
Yeah.
Your stock cube, and
palm
oil, pepper, and our leaves.
Okay, so you can see on your screen already, these are the ingredients that have just been mentioned, and these are they right here. What kind of leaf is that anyway? What kind of vegetable is that?
This is green. It's called green.
Just green, yeah?
Yes, it's called green. Usually, we're meant to use cocoyam leaves for it. That's the meat, but we don't get that in this part of town. So the alternative one is to use green.
Okay, because it's easily sourced and all.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Looking forward to it. How long will it take us to put together?
Let's say 40
minutes.
45 minutes, yeah.
That's grand, because that's the only time we have.
Yes.
But in any case, so it's easy to put together. You would have this for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Which is it?
Well, my place from where I'm from.
I don't say.
Yeah, where I'm from, we have it like any time, you know. Have it like any time. The proper meal. You know,
yeah, on its own, I don't need to have swallow with it.
No, you don't need to have swallow. This is like a proper meal. Like it's just.
Well, it seems rather expensive.
Yes, it is. Oh, it is. It's a very rich food from our place, and it's very rich. And you can see it has lots of assorted meats. It's possible people just trade snails. Can put snails, prawns, you know,
anything
all that. So it's a very rich meal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So, hey, if you have been looking forward to perhaps learning how to put this together, this is your chance. We're going to have this up on YouTube as well. So at the end of the show, you have everything in one nice package so you know how you can put together yours at home, especially maybe today. It's still a holiday. There's plenty of time to get to the market and get your ingredients and put it together for family. Surprise your husband or hubby. Surprise anybody, yeah? Just let them think, ooh, bam,
perfect meal. Perfect meal to just give your husband a very, very wonderful treat.
Exactly. See the way she says it. It goes with the attitude. Tell you what, we're gonna get started. Gonna, go on a short break. By the time we get back, the process will be on its way, but we'll give you guys every step-by-step approach that we take. Stay tuned. We'll be back. And you're welcome. It's the second hour here, and I would like to remind us to spread genuine love this season, please. Not the type that, some people offer, but genuine love, okay? Now, what do we have for you guys? The best, only the best, the second hour for Wake Up Nigeria. Welcome once again, and thank you very much for paying rapt attention all through the first hour to everything that's happening, especially inside the kitchen, of which everybody is saying, Mazino, I want a piece of that, I want a piece of that, especially our director, Mr. Olamide. But you should take the advice that Mike gave earlier. It's not for people above 40, and I'm going to stick with that. As for me, I'm 35. It's all good. I don't know. Mary, are you going to be joining in our feasting after?
Am I going to be what?
Joining in the feasting.
Are you asking me? The last time we had ekpankoko made here was 2 years ago around Christmas. And I remember, gosh, what a divine meal it was. I really cannot wait to dig in today.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, man, there's going to be plenty of fights today, so I'm going to take this off after, just so that I can, I'll be first in line for the food. But of course, I'm the one inside the kitchen. You guys as well, don't worry. You guys can have a taste only if you put it together yourself. We're going to let you guys know exactly how to do that. It's going to be very easy and up on YouTube. My name, of course, is Mazino Appeal. Watch us live, GOTV 27, UHF 49. That's how you can see us. And you can also see us live on, Facebook, not live, but on Facebook, on YouTube after the show is done. Everything all packaged in there for you. Carry us with you if you want. All you need to do is make sure you've downloaded the app on Android or iOS. And follow us on social media. Do remember, at TVC Connect, send in the comments, use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. Now, Second hour here, let's let you guys know what's coming your way. We are going to be having a musical performance for you guys. Afro Orijo, singer and songwriter Adedayo Adebite will be joining us with his piece, which he calls a very interesting one. You guys are going to love this one. He's known as Dunish Abrata. He calls this one Grace, and he will be seizing the opportunity to show us what it sounds like. And then joining us for our SME segment for a Monday, we have Oluwabumi Olunyo, the creative director and managing partner of Olumi's Place Limited, a company focused in garments, fashion, accessories, and souvenirs.
You know how when you attend events, you meet people you haven't seen in a long time. And in this case, I actually saw someone I hadn't seen since secondary school.
Oh, wow.
This morning.
Oh.
And it happened to be Oluwabumi.
Oh, really? You guys were in secondary school together?
She was my junior. Her brother was my classmate,
Okay.
Isaac. So I was
Very
surprised to
interesting.
see
What a
her.
reunion. That would be good.
Well.
Talking about events, you guys didn't see that video of the event center that got burnt over the weekend, did you?
I saw it. I saw it, and I was weirded out by it. I saw it.
So it was like the
decor.
decor, exactly.
Yeah.
The decor. You know how
Fireworks.
light they can be, and it's
Yeah. I
more.
wonder what caused it in the first place. I
I
remember
my first thoughts were fireworks, like you said, because most of
Exactly.
the times we have these fireworks when maybe couple dancing in or something like that at different points.
I had this experience
So
once.
I actually read, just to quickly answer that, I actually read online some comments to that post where they said it wasn't even fireworks, that was a chandelier. There was a claim that it was a chandelier that sparked, and that was what started the fire. So for now, it's still unconfirmed.
So
We'll
it's
definitely
very
find
scary
out.
now walking into an event center and seeing all of those kind of decors because it's a fire hazard. This one time I was emceeing and then the couples were dancing and then the pyrotechnics went off and then her veil caught on fire.
Right.
Yeah, I literally, we had to start stamping it out. To have something like that happen on a special day can be not just embarrassing but traumatic.
So I've always thought that some of the things that happen indoors in Nigerian ceremonies were actually designed
be
to
outdoors.
happen outdoors. Fireworks, certain lightings and all. But we have them indoors here. And it does seem like there is no regulatory body for the events
There
industry.
are. There are. And actually, before you have an event, you're supposed to have an inspection by this regulatory body, which is something that doesn't happen anymore. I put together, or I've been a part of bodies that put together concerts, and you cannot have a concert in Lagos without them actually making sure that your exits are usable, especially in the instance of a fire, or that there's certain things that you can't do.
So, but that's a
indoors.
concert. We're talking about weddings,
Yeah.
reunions,
Yeah.
naming
It's the
ceremonies.
purview as well. It's
Namings.
within the-
Yeah, but
but
those ones, the concerts are big. I mean, there's, oh, hey, this big one is happening, Davido or whoever, AY or so you can go. But these ones are small that there are thousands in a week
Yeah.
in Lagos. Do
Different
they have enough
locations.
personnel?
Yeah, true.
How would they go around all of them? I was watching, after the Liverpool-Arsenal match, I mean, just 10 minutes after the match, a stadium of 60,000 was empty. In just 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I made mention, I was like, oh, wow,
Hey,
what
would this be a
wonderful crowd
Nigerian
management.
event? Yeah.
And then my friend goes, we're chatting in a group, and he goes like, that's not a big deal. I say, well, it's because I've been here. We've been in this kind of environment so much. I mean, you have centers like that, about 10 centers in the UK where these matches are happening. Virtually twice, thrice a week. These guys, and that is for the big teams. So there's the championship, there's 5 levels of football. Crowd management is just so, they've understood it so much and they do it so well that everything just seems like,
Even in school, you are told line by line. You will see some people jump in line.
It's a Nigerian
It's a
mentality.
Nigerian thing, and it's terrible.
So I heard the MC, I don't know if it was MC or someone was shouting, hey, don't rush,
Don't
don't,
rush,
They'll tell you, bros, calm down. You don't know where they go.
Hopefully that we hope that the couple, well, if whatever happens, at least their day is preserved. I heard it was at the end of close to the end of the ceremony, but congratulations are still in order.
Again on Wake Up Nigeria, I am Mike Messikeno. Now, an update on the death of former Attorney General and Minister of Justice Bola Ajibola. The governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, has commiserated with President Muhammadu Buhari, the nation's judiciary and family of the former minister who died in the early hours of yesterday. Now, in a statement by his chief press secretary, Kunle Shomorin, Governor Abiodun, the death stated that the death of a legal icon marked the end of an era. Describing the death as a big loss to the judiciary, Governor Abiodun said his legacies, philanthropy, and contributions to education will never be forgotten. Bola Ajibola was the president of the Nigerian Bar Association from 1984 to 85. He was also one of 5 commissioners on the Eritrea-Ethiopia Boundary Commission organized through the Permanent Court of Arbitration. He was the High Commissioner of Nigeria to the United Kingdom from 1999 to 2002.
It was everything. We didn't miss anything. As far as the fatherhood is concerned, he was so much to so many. And the pouring in of messages from all over the world has been non-stop, which itself reflects the type of human being he was. Everybody is deeply touched, and you know, they are very much with the family, with their prayers, and we thank them very much for all of that. But he was indeed a great man in every way. And where we are now itself is a testament to some of his activities, where he himself has chosen to be buried. So we thank God Almighty for all of that.
The minister has been laid to rest at the Islamic Mission for Africa Center at Abeokuta in accordance with Islamic rites. Family members, sympathizers, religious associates, and different Islamic groups thronged the center owned by the late Attorney General to catch the last glimpse of a late justice who died at 89. One of his children, Zakaria Ajibola, said their father was one in a million. Let's take a look at what is happening in the kitchen. Mazino is actually forming busy, but I know he has been doing nothing except putting water on the stove.
Now, hang on a second there, Mike. I don't like this. I'm not saying that I can't cook. I'm saying that that's all Anne here is letting me do because she doesn't trust my skill. But then again, actually, the fact is I rarely cook these days. I leave it to the experts like Anne here, who's doing such a fine job. I mean, our ekpan koko is already on the fire and everything went on top. Do you want to describe exactly what happened till we got here?
Okay, first we put our oil in the pot to grease the pot with our oil. Then we put in our periwinkle under before we wrapped the cocoyam.
Oh, hang on a second. So the periwinkle went under the cocoyam?
Yeah,
I didn't see that. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Periwinkle went under.
Okay.
Yeah, so before
wrap the
we wrap the
put it on there.
and put it on top.
Okay, then went our pepper on top of that.
Yeah.
Our seasoning. And crayfish. What about the fish? Have we put the fish in?
Yes.
Oh, we put the fish in already.
The stockfish, everything goes into boiling with it.
Okay, so we did not add water, did we?
We did.
We did. We added a little.
Yeah,
so we had water boiling from before.
The boiled water.
Finally put water, but we had to wait for a while before we put the water in. Why was that?
Yeah, I always like to steam my my oil and cocoyam first to give it that flavor first.
Okay.
And onto the cocoyam, then we put the.
Okay, so that's gonna stay on there for how long now?
Probably in the next 20 minutes is ready.
Next 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So here he, all he who wants to have this in 20 minutes, get your pitchforks and your arms and, you know, come, let's fight for this meal. But hey, it's looking fantastic. And if you were inside the studio, you'd smell it already. It's beautiful. Just in case you want to know, the ingredients are on your screen right now. We've got some spices, dry fish, crayfish, palm oil, stockfish, cocoyam, which is like the main thing here, some water yam as well, and periwinkles, St. leaves, fresh pepper, and green leaves. Did we have to have both cocoyam and water yam?
Yes, because the water yam helps
harden
its state here, helps thicken it a little bit. Because the water yam might make it a bit scattered and all that.
Okay, that just helps to keep it together, consistent.
Keep it together, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Well, tell you guys what. Stay tuned. It's not yet done. By the time we're done, you're going to want to come through your TV and have a piece of it yourself. And you're welcome to, if only you can.
Yeah.
All right, second hour already on the way here. Let's let it take off real good. And we'll be back inside the kitchen to show you guys our finished product. Stay tuned. You're welcome. It's our final segment. And yes, I'm on the couch reluctantly because they are trying to get me away from my ekpan koko, and that might not happen. I'm going to fight for it for after. But anyhow, welcome to our SME segment. Today we have Oluwabumi Olunyo. Now, she's the creative director, designer rather, and managing partner of Olumi's Place. Now, it's a company focused on garments, fashion accessories, and souvenirs. And as we go, we'll be showing you a couple of them on TV, so you just keep your eyes peeled. You are welcome. Did I get that right? Olunyo.
Yes, you did.
That's the first time I've ever had to pronounce that. Where's that from?
Ogun State.
Ogun State, Olunyo. That's a very nice name. But I'll just call you Bumi. Is that okay?
That's fine. Perfect.
Thank you very much. Welcome. So, your garment factory or your garment couture, do I call it? Which one should I go with?
factory, we're into ready-to-wear. We also do the bespoke place, but at the same time, we are focused more on the ready-to-wear section.
Okay.
Because we feel that we can do so much, and most Nigerians tend to bring in products from out there. But we tend to focus more on our production here, and we are so detailed on the finishing. So if you pick up any of our garments, you can be sure of the finishing, perfect, and the standard is up there.
I can see that you're wearing one of yours as well today.
Yeah.
So that's actually an exhibition for you guys out there. She's wearing that. Now, why the specific focus on garments for Nigerians? Did you find a need that needed to be, a demand that needed to be provided for?
Yeah, actually, this started when I was working. I worked like over 10 years in the corporate world, and I have to work all through the motor, looking for people's clapping, and you just keep working, and you don't find. By the time you just find a particular thing, and just maybe wanted to buy 3, just buy 1, like fine. So we can do this actually. We can actually produce this. We can actually make it more accessible to Nigerians and still give them the quality they need. I know that there are some challenges out there, but...
Yeah, we're going to talk about those challenges. But first off, was it a passion? Could you sew from before? Could you make garments from before? Or did you have to go like, I want to do this, but I need training? First off, where did the ability come from?
Yeah, it's a passion from the beginning.
There you go.
But I had to go for training. I can remember my first trainer, she's late now. When she got sick, I had to look for another trainer. And it was difficult, but she really tried. She put in all the work into making sure I had to merge both working and also going for training. But she would create all the time for me to make sure I train and learn. And
how long did it take you to train? How long did it take you to become good at it?
Like a year.
Okay, that's encouraging. 2 years, maybe you're like, oh God, after 2 years. But a year is like, okay, in a year I'd be good. And so you started training, and then you were done by what time, and how from when you started the garment making business up until now, how long has that been?
I trained my first trainer, that was a 2011 middle after service year. Okay. And second trainer, 2016.
Okay.
Then we started production 2018. We got registered 2019.
Nice.
And
after registration, that's about 4 years since, going on 4 years since. Would you say that you have managed to get that stability that you were looking for when it comes to finances from your garment making since that time, that 4 year span?
I won't say we have gotten the finance there now, but I would say, yeah, we are open to funding.
Well, yeah.
Perfect, but we are grateful.
Okay.
At the same time, we are happy that we can do that, and we can also, but we are still open to funding.
Okay.
Because in this garment production line, you just have to, a lot of things, machineries, staffing.
Yeah.
The economic commission right now, where you have the diesel.
Oof, yeah, I know.
Oh,
I know.
So,
it's a big outfit. It's a big process. Endeavor. If you have to, how many people work with you?
Like 5.
5 people. And how many garments do you put out in a week?
Let's say we can do like 60.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. Let's talk about the challenges you mentioned from before. What challenges did you face in trying to set up?
I think the biggest challenge has always been trying to make sure that we are doing ready to wear, trying to make sure that we're in par with those bringing it in. Because if our garment is too expensive, certainly they'll still go for.
Yeah.
But because of the cost of production being really high, we're still trying to like beat down the price because we don't want to cut down on quality. We're like, no. I just feel like if the government can do something to actually help us, as much as if you want to go into petrol, subsidy is going up soon, and
wow, that's a lot. So what challenges do you have with people, different body types, since you do ready to wear? Ready to wear is based on a concept that it should fit everybody. So there's plenty of allowance, I can tell you that. Being somebody who's got an awkward body shape, my arms are skinny and long, my body is like, so I might have that problem I do have that problem getting the specific kind of clothing that suits me well. So if you're doing ready to wear, how do you manage these differences in shapes and sizes of your customers?
Yeah, I can say that was a big one for us when we started.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because like we had to change sizing twice. We are now on the 3rd one, which is now perfect because people just come in now and get into our dresses and it fits perfectly. It wasn't like that initially. It wasn't like people say they're size 8 and they get like, I know it's too small. But now you can say you're size 12, you give out size 12 and it fits perfectly on
How did you have to, how did you come to that fine point? That
like, it's just like
trial and error or research?
Not really, research.
Okay.
It was more of research, a lot of research.
Okay.
A lot.
Right. That's grand. Okay. So you started all by yourself, or did
Yes,
you have a partner or an investor?
I started all by myself. Presently, we have 3 partners on board. I'm the managing partner. We have the silent partner. We have 3 partners on board.
Okay. All right. So a lot of people always take sample from every segment that we have here for the SME. They learn from guys like you who have been out there, who put out good work on our stable and are making monies. If I'm going to be starting this, now, first of all, I know I need some training. Secondly, I know I'm going to face plenty of challenges. But would you say it is a good endeavor to continue striving in? And how long will it be before I break even, perhaps, or get stable?
The truth is, if you're passionate about something, please go for it. Because even when you fail, the good thing is please stand up, because everyone who fails and stand is whoever gets successful.
Yeah.
If you don't fail, then you won't know this is a problem. So if you're passionate about this, please go for training, start up. Because the truth is, clothing is that thing that everyone must wear.
Yeah.
So you actually have the markets. Please
essential commodity.
go and start.
Okay, so you've managed inside of the community, might I say Lagos, here to be able to get your garments out there. Are you extending that across Nigeria or even across outside Nigeria?
Yes. Presently now, we are registered with NEPC. So we are going to be exporting some of our products
don't
soon.
deport it though.
Exporting some of our products soon.
Yeah.
Also, likewise, we are on virtually all e-commerce platform.
Okay.
So you can actually get our products anywhere you are in Nigeria, anywhere you are in the world. So it's just out there for you. Just order that e-commerce platform, just go there, order ulumi.place. Ulumi's place.
Say that again.
Ulumi.place on social media. We can get that to you directly.
Okay.
But for you to go for this e-commerce platform, just Ulumi's Place Limited, Ulumi's Place, you get your product there. They do everything, we just deliver to them and they bring it down to you. So
Fantastic. Is there a community of garment makers that one could join for support if they're going to go into this industry?
yes, I believe that.
What is it like? Is it competitive? Is it helpful? Is it advantageous? Is it to my advantage to join it?
Yes, I believe it says, because the truth is this. There's a lot of good in coming together. It makes you, like, if you have to bring in fabrics, if you have to sort for fabrics.
Where do you get them from? Where do you source them from?
We sort for them different places, the truth be said. But the truth is, if you have to get the huge quantity and you come together and then it reduce your cost of production.
Most of our SME guests always say that that kind of a community actually helps with sourcing for your products, because you all come together as one body and you're able to source these easier and cheaper. And that's one thing I take away from all of you guys. So I'm going into socks making. I've got my brand out. It's going to be called, it is called Wet Puppy Socks. Please tell me the community to join, because I need to.
I think she just...
Man must not leave on wake up night, sorry, bread alone.
Just check online.
Check online, huh? I will take your advice. Thank you very much, Bumi.
Thank you.
But don't go yet, because we're cooking ekpan koko. Have you had it before?
Yes, I have.
Can I take Bumi over to the kitchen already? Because I'd like her to taste the ekpan koko that I've so strived to put together. Come on over, Bumi, please. Let's bring you over here. And this is Chef Anne, our beautiful model chef. Please do sit. I got you. Oh, look at that. And those are my colleagues who are about to fight me for the rest. But don't worry. I got this. You and I both here.
This looks good.
Yeah.
Yes,
Your company made this jacket. It's amazing.
Thank you.
I didn't think it was made in Nigeria until you mentioned
everything. You cannot catch me without my brand.
Nice, nice.
You two went to school together, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Senior Mary.
Senior Mary, I should say.
And that was what, 20 years ago? Come on.
Don't tell them how old you are now, Mary. It was 5 years ago.
Mary's not that old.
5 years ago.
So that's 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
It was not a year ago.
Mary's not that old, though.
It's in the future.
Mary is he up to 20 years now?
It's
not. You're not that old.
Our 20th year in reunion is this July.
Wow. All right.
So how many is it for me? No, I'm scared to even calculate my own.
Chef Anne, tell us what we have here. Tell us how we're going to do, how we got here, and what we're eating.
Okay, we're having Ikwan Kukwo made from cocoyam and water yam. After grating, we wrapped the Ikwan Kukwo with...
Already, yes. While she's telling
we
me.
wrapped it with green leaf. Normally, we're meant to use cocoyam leaf, but we can't find that in this part of the town. So we used green as an alternative. We wrapped it. Then we get our pot ready, put in an oil, throw in our periwinkles, and then start wrapping into the pot. And then we put in our ingredients, our crayfish, our pepper, our stock cubes, and stockfish, dry fish.
All this stock
It's too much.
Goat meat. It's a very rich. It's a very rich food. You need to. In fact, there meant to be snail, prawns. In it.
This is supposed to be like a treat because if someone
it's a treat. It's actually a treat.
Yeah. You will not have anything to show for.
Yeah, it's actually a treat. So you want to give someone a treat, your husband, this is like a
Oh, she's giving you a score.
Thank you. You see, we know what we are doing at my end. So
we're just going to try to round up now because the food is getting cold, you get.
No, very any hurry.
So it's
While
best
all of you are talking about food, I managed to calculate. Next year, Silver Jubilee.
For you, huh? Wow.
Oh, wow. Mazi?
No. I entered school when I
Let's not ask Mazi.
No. This has to be put to rest.
Okay,
I and Mike are practically the same.
Mazi.
Why do they make you look like an old man? You know what? Listen, we have to go already because we want to get our hands oily because it's periwinkle here. We're going to be sucking on it. So you guys should go. Thank you very much for joining us for our Monday edition. It's been fun. We'll be expecting you guys back here for Tuesday. That's tomorrow. It's going to be great because we're curating that as we speak. So catch you guys then. Goodbye.
Bye.